Hi, my name is Yeni Vihara, and I'm a multidisciplinary artist with a focus on painting using oil paints and colored pencils, and focusing on themes of identity based on a cross-cultural background. This painting, titled "When Sweat Drips Faster, We Boil," was a painting inspired by my experience coming to Japan as a 13-year-old, and the first time I went to a Japanese bathhouse. And I still remember this scene of intense heat and humidity and these red, naked bodies walking around, bathing and chatting. And I remember just feeling this intense fear. This place that I felt as if I should belong was somewhere that I didn't really feel connected to, and somewhere that I almost felt frightened of. And ever since that day, bathhouses have become this place that was rooted in cultural shock and displacement within my own identity. And I think being half Japanese and living in Japan, I definitely had the sense where I felt as if I should belong in this country, but also I felt completely distant from it. And I think this painting is a representation of this culmination of years of pent-up frustration living in Japan. I was really fixated upon the composition of this painting, and particularly the landscape composition. And I wanted to make it feel as if the viewer could slowly kind of unravel the story behind the painting as they walk linearly towards or by the painting. And so essentially the painting starts off with this sort of glass door, and the glass door kind of opens and it slowly veers into these people fighting, and then this person in the center, and then finally these people talking in the background. And I think the composition-wise, it goes linearly and then it goes into the back, and I think I wanted to create this sort of like storyline almost through the composition and the landscape. As I mentioned earlier, this painting was inspired by my experience coming to Japan and going to a Japanese bathhouse for the first time. And ever since that experience, I'd never really gone to a bathhouse because of the kind of fear that I had towards it. But with the process of this painting, I visited my local bathhouse once a week to kind of submerge myself in the environment and fully try to perceive bathhouses through an alternate lens. And I was also heavily inspired by traditional Japanese paintings as well, in which women would be depicted kind of bathing and fighting sometimes as well, and just there was a sense of community in these paintings, which was something I could relate to. I think what was interesting also about those paintings was that although there was this sort of sense of community, there would also be this sort of violence in this place that is supposed to be inherently a place of calm and tranquility. And that sort of contrast was something that I really resonated with. What I believe through art, and what I think is the most important part of art, is the act of being able to create communication and discussion and conversation among the people who see these pieces. And I think especially with painting, it kind of has this power where it forces you to look at the painting and sort of try to understand what they're trying to tell you. And I think in our fast-paced world, it's so hard, and there isn't much time and space to really think about where we come from, our backgrounds, and how we are as people. And so I think, in a sense, through my paintings and through sharing my narratives, I want people to not only care about themselves, but also look at other people and just kind of understand humankind, I think, in a more intricate way. I think one really interesting thing with group exhibitions is that every piece kind of affects every piece. And with this exhibition, there were a lot of people, I think there were 2 people who were making performance sound pieces. And it was really interesting trying to figure out in what ways their pieces would affect my piece. And there's actually one person, I think Murata-san, her performance piece consists of these women speaking and kind of berating the audience in a way. And I think it was interesting to see that sort of relationship between her art and my art, and how they would connect and create something new through the act of a group exhibition.